All right. So when you are with your partner, you should have figured out your absolute values. So for the first one, -7 equals? 7. Where would I plot that on my number line? +7. So where the green 7 is, I would put a dot, and I would put the letter A to represent that this dot goes with this absolute value of -7. All right. What about B? Where would I find B? What's the absolute value of 5? 5. Where would I find B? +5. So I would have a dot where I would indicate it goes with B by putting a B over the top of it. All right. What about C? 7. So I will put a dot and I would put a C. So -7 and 7 are the same thing when we're talking about absolute values. Now remember, D was that special circumstance. What is the absolute value of -8? 8, right? The absolute value is 8. But this negative sign that's outside the absolute value is treated just like order of operations. So I would do what's in my parentheses first, which is bring the absolute value out for an 8. But then that negative sign is going to carry to my answer to the absolute value, resulting in my answer being for a negative absolute value -8 would be a -8. I would plot my point over my -8 and I would identify it with the letter D. So that's your little mini refresher on verbiage and absolute value. Cool? All right. I'm going to set this to the side for a minute and I'm going to use some counters. And we're going to talk about something called zero pairs. I know, we're going to refresh it because we're going to be talking about adding and subtracting integers. So I just randomly dropped these onto the table. And Muna said we talked about that because he's referring to when we talked about combining like terms, is when we talked about zero pairs and canceling things out. Remember when we talked about the different shapes? I have positive stars, negative stars, and they cancel each other out. Those are those zero pair situations. So when I have this random arrangement of colored counters, Lolly, what do you think is the first thing I should do? Stick Lolly. It's all jumbled together. So what do you think is a good idea to do first? I would separate them by color, right? I want to get my colors together so it makes it easier to look at them, easier to count them. So now that they're separated, what do you see that we have?
3 white and 3 red.
There's no white.
3 yellow and 8 red.
3 yellow and
8 red.
8 red. The red counters, those are negative numbers. So we have a -8 and we have a +3. So we can make something called zero pairs. So I take one positive and one negative and I get rid of them. They become a zero pair. Now it's called a zero pair because it's canceling each other out. Right? I have one positive, I have one negative, they cancel each other out. I haven't thought of it. Can you think of anything else that cancels each other out?
Ooh.
What?
Febreze cancels out the heat.
Okay, yeah. If I have something that smells bad, I spray some Febreze, it cancels it out. What? Anybody else? Water cancels out fire, right? If something's on fire, I throw some water on it, it cancels each other out. If it's a grease fire, I throw some flour on it, it cancels each other out. AK? Well, can you tell me more? I don't quite. What's being canceled out? Oh, yes, the money from your account. Christine?
Water stops burning.
Water stops burning, yep.
Oh.
Braylon,
You cancel out the hit from your mom's belt.
with what?
Your hand.
No, it still hurts. Even if you catch it with your hand, it still hurts. Pain is still there. It's not being canceled out. It's just being redirected. Faith? Deodorant cancels out smelling bad? Yes. A mark is supposed to cancel out bad behavior. All right. So this is a zero pair. One positive and one negative. They're going to cancel each other out. In this case, we can make 3 zero pairs. So we can cancel out. And when we cancel out, what are we left with? I'm only left with negatives. And how many negatives am I left with? So if I have the equation -8, +3, it would equal a -5 because we were able to make those zero pairs. Now, you guys don't have colored counters, so you're not going to be able to make zero pairs constantly on the table. Jeremiah?
But is it a negative plus a positive?
No. If I owe you $8 and I only pay you 3, are we going to be squashed as good?
No.
Right. So it's the same thing when you're talking about -8 and +3. It's resulting in a -5 because I have more negatives than I have positives. So I'm able to get rid of my positives and some of my negatives by creating those zero pairs, but I'm still left with owing you $5. I've only paid down my debt. Back to, you are not going to be able to draw these on your papers. So what is an easy way to do it? And this works with little numbers. Guys, when you're talking about big numbers like -542 plus 623, you're not going to want to draw red and yellow circles, right? But when you have smaller problems, like let's say -2 plus 6. Now, you have to remember that your sign tells you what kind of number that you have. So now write this down. Your sign tells you what kind of number you have. And in this case, I have 6 positives and 2 negatives. So what I can do is I can write a negative and a negative because I have 2. And I can write positive, 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 because I have 6 positives. And I can create zero pairs. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. I can create zero pairs with my positive and my negative symbols. And so if I create zero pairs, what am I left with?
4.
I'm left with 4, and those 4 are what? Positive. Now, you're still going to be able to write +4 as just the number 4. If it's helpful to you, AK and Jeremiah, I need you to get back on task. AK, there's no reason that your body should be turned around facing Jeremiah. The past is behind you, and ain't nothing back there but trouble. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4 positives. So if you want to put a +4 for your brain, you're welcome to, but it's not required. Negative numbers have to be identified. Positive numbers do not. It's automatically implied. Now you guys have seen yes, sir. Okay. You guys have seen problems like this your whole life. What do I have here? I have a +4 and I have a +6. They're both positive numbers. So what do? We just add them together. 6 plus 4 is 10, right? That's because the sign is the same. So the sign is the same. I just put them together. That rule is the same when talking about negatives. If I have 2 negative numbers, -4 and a -6, they're both signs are the same. I have a -4 and I have a -6. So just like here, I combined my numbers and I kept the sign. I had a 6 and a 4, which made 10, and they were both positives, so it remained a positive. I would do the same thing when I'm talking about combining negative numbers. I have a -6 and I have a -4. They're both negative numbers, so I'm going to combine them. 4 and 6 are 10, and then I'm going to keep my sign. They're both negative numbers, so it's going to stay a negative number. That's like saying I borrowed $4. Oh, but I needed some more money, so I borrowed $6 more. Well, now I owe you a total of $10. Oh, yes, I can. All right, let's try another one. If I have a -5 and a +1, create some 0 pairs to find out your answer.